Hello again. I am Kaylee Rose with Lunation Mentoring. This is the day 10 video for the 21-day Energetic Boundaries Reset and Reclamation. And today we're going to be talking about the arc line. We have talked about the aura, about grounding and radiating instead of shielding. We've talked about the heart space, head space, and womb space. We've talked about the physical body and the things it can teach us about boundaries. And now we're diving more deeply into subtle energetics, things like the aura, things like the arc lines. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Getting things pulled up now. Okay, we're good to go. So the arc lines. Let's see, I'm going to pull up my notes really quick. So, because I had a few things that I learned recently that I wanted to share with you about arc lines. So the arc lines are considered yoga's sixth body. In Kundalini yoga, there's this philosophy of 10 bodies and that are all connected to your overall well-being, but also connected to your Kundalini and your life force energy. The arc lines. So have you ever come across a person who just seems incredibly confident, centered in who they are? They seem to have a very clear sense of direction for themselves and their lives. They can feel pretty charismatic, but they just feel so very radiant almost. And according to the 10 bodies philosophy of Kundalini yoga, that energy, that type of person, that stems from their arc line. And if you are biologically male, you have one arc line that runs from one ear to the other ear. And if you are biologically female, you have an arc line that runs from your ear to your ear and then from nipple to nipple. And so in this Kundalini yoga philosophy, the arc lines are kind of considered like the nucleus, the center of the aura. And strengthening the arc line or arc lines, if you are female, can strengthen your entire auric field and support you in having just overall more well-being. If you have a strong arc line or arc lines, you tend to have a clearer sense of direction for your life. You tend to have greater confidence. You tend to magnetize the things that you need and want to you more. Your energy becomes charismatic. And if you have essentially like a weakened arc line or a damaged arc line or arc lines, you tend to second guess yourself a lot more. You tend to feel just a lack of confidence. You can feel a little bit more moody or depressed. You lack clarity and energy, usually, if you have an imbalance or some sort of damage to your arc line or arc lines. So connection to the rising sign. If you've spent much time with me and my work, you know that I have a unique philosophy when it comes to astrology and how astrology doesn't negate or take away from a belief in a higher power, even a belief in God, in like the Judeo-Christian God, or a belief in Jesus Christ. In that astrology is ultimately a language, and a language put in place by our creator, whatever you may view as your higher power, and that it can be used in ways that are very detrimental to our well-being, and that give our power away, or it can be used in ways that are very empowering and very connecting to our higher powers, to our higher power, and that help us to live in greater alignment with the laws of the universe. So that is just a really quick snippet of my philosophy on astrology if you are newer to me and my work. But the arc line or arc lines, if you're a woman, is very connected to your rising sign on your natal chart, your birth chart. So your rising sign is whatever sign was, whatever zodiac sign was coming up on the horizon at the moment of your birth. And that rising sign can give you information about how you show up in the world. And arc lines essentially project your essence out into the world. Rising sign is very, very similar in nature. And it also represents kind of like your awakening awareness as you move through life. And so, knowing what your rising sign is. So, for example, I'm a Scorpio rising. Scorpio was coming up on the horizon at the moment of my birth. And so, for me to strengthen my arc lines, I would lean into healthy, empowered Scorpio energy. If you have Aries rising, you would lean into healthy, empowered Aries energy to support you in strengthening your arc line or arc lines. If you don't know much um, about astrology, you're welcome to visit my website, ourlunation.com. That's OURLUNATION. And if you go to the free resource library, you have to make an account. It just requires your email address. You make an account there and you have access to all my free resources, which include information about each of the signs, just kind of like a primer of sorts for astrology to kind of get you started. If you don't have, if you don't know your birth chart, what it looks like, then there are lots of free online calculators that will give you your birth chart. You just, I recommend using one that uses the tropical zodiac and pulls up a Placidus chart. Or you're welcome to contact me if you are interested in getting your birth chart from me. I do charge a nominal fee for that because it does take up some of my time to get that to you. You can email hello@ourlunation.com and just put in the subject line birth chart or natal chart and email me about that. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you about that? If you don't know your accurate birth time, please, please, please don't guess. Get your official birth certificate, or find something that is from close to your birth date, whether that's like a baby book that your parents filled out around the time you were born so that it's more likely to be accurate. Working with an inaccurate birth time can wreak a lot of havoc potentially, but it also can sometimes be a really valuable learning process because sometimes our incorrect chart reflects where we're at while we're using it. And then as it comes into our awareness that we have an inaccurate chart, shifting to the accurate chart can, all of it can work for your good. But I do strongly suggest that you begin with an accurate birth time. There are people trained in chart rectification, which is where they can help you in figuring out, narrowing down when your birth time was likely to be based on your life experiences and based on charts. I am not specifically trained in that, though that is an area of astrology that I am looking into receiving training on. But yeah, if you want to strengthen your arc lines, you do not necessarily have to know your rising sign. One way to strengthen your arc line or arc lines is to do things like practice telling the truth, being honest in all that you speak. If you are in a situation where being 100% honest is not necessarily safe, because I do recognize that sometimes there are situations where that is the case, speaking the truth to yourself being honest as possible to yourself. And also showing up in the world in a way that's in integrity with who you are. Those are ways to strengthen your arc lines. Connecting with that core of who you are, doing meditations that help you connect with your inner self, your inner world. Those are all things that can help you in strengthening that arc line or arc lines, and can support you in stepping into this world with greater confidence, with greater clarity. And if the everything that I've shared in this video, if it's intriguing to you and you want um, one-on-one support, you can book a session with me through that same website, ourlunation.com. If you set up an asynchronous natal chart session with me, just when you fill out the initial questionnaire, mention that you want to talk about arc lines. If you don't have your birth information, you can go ahead and set up an asynchronous subtle energetic session, and just make sure that you indicate you want to focus on your arc lines, and we can explore strengthening your arc lines without even knowing your birth information. So those are just a few ways that if you would like some support, some one-on-one support from me, you can do that. And let's see, was there anything else that I wanted to share with you today about arc lines? No, that's it. But if you are wanting to work on this on your own, like I mentioned before, really connecting with the core of who you are, speaking truth, um, speaking truth. And if you're in a situation where you can't 100% speak the truth, just making sure that you are being completely honest with yourself as much as possible, practicing that radical honesty, that radical self-honesty will do a lot for healing your and balancing your arc line, or if your arc line, if you're biologically male, your arc lines, if you're biologically female. So thank you again for joining me for this 21-day Energetic Boundaries Reset and Reclamation. This was day 10. Tomorrow, let's see, day 11. Yes, we're going to be talking about the silver thread. So yeah, I will see you either here on YouTube or in my Facebook group or in ourlunation.com. And that's all for today.